Hello, welcome back. We're playing the 12th of December 1940 turn, and it's the Allies' move. And the Allies have moved and conducted some air operations up at the top of your screen. There we used the Blenheims and the Wellingtons to DG this 12 combat factor unit there. And the Italians had no patrol zones there, which they will rectify next turn. So that happened. Then we went through the movement phase. The Aussies were released, and as you may recall, I buggered up the turn pretty much, and when I got all excited about moving the Indians, I moved the Indians and the 7th Armoured, and I moved the Aussies along with them. That was these guys here. I moved them all along with everybody else, and they weren't supposed to move. I've attached the 7th RTR here to the Aussies here. So we moved up, and it looked pretty much like to the Italians that there was going to be an attack here. And since this is our one good unit in the entire area, we decided to release reserves. We have reserves sitting here in Gasea Alabid, and they are artillery units. And so what we did is move our artillery units half their movement, which is 1 hex, and we elected to, I just rolled a die, and this guy fired here, and this guy fired here. And, you know, but judging by the stack, if I was playing my opponent, the person I would probably put the strongest effort into that stack anyway. Now what was interesting, or would be interesting if I was playing, and I want to show you, I'm showing you this because I think I haven't seen any video on how you actually can use reserves in a defensive mode or as a defensive mechanism. And so I thought I'd share that. That's how I use it anyway, and I'd love to hear how you use it. But also, it's a little bit of intelligence gathering exercise as well. When you fire your arty, there are these density shifts, which is just the number of regimental equivalents or the size of the stack that you have in the hex. And if I was looking at that, I would think, well, gee whiz, that's probably at least the equivalent of 3 regiments or more, given that each one of these is a brigade. So I'm thinking, okay, there's probably a good 2 or 3 brigades in there. If there were more than 3, I would have received a shift on this stack when I attacked it with this 11 factors. Now I didn't get the shift, so that tells me that there are 3 or less Rees there. So that's a good piece of information, and if you can remember it amongst all the other hundreds of units, then that's very cool. Now, of course, I've got this stacked. I've got the toughest unit on the top and all the rest of it, and that's a tank battalion. And there's another tank battalion. Oh, it's not tanks, but it's an armoured unit. And then these are just arty brigades. Oh, not brigades. Oh gosh, I'm going to knock the stack over. I'm going to leave them alone. They're battalions. Let's not touch them. So that's all I want to show you. What we've done now is theoretically disrupted this attack a little bit. We've reduced the attacking factors here by half, and assuming that entire stack was attacking, which it's not, it's mostly arty, these guys are going to conduct the actual attack. But now I probably won't use those units, and I will lose one of the better combat effectiveness ratings there. So I'll now be attacking with a 4 instead of a 5. So we have, as the Italians, we have slowed down the punch that was coming, and were able to foresee a little bit of the damage coming and preempt it just a little bit. So there's a little example of reserve usage. Hopefully I did that right. All right, there you go. We'll come back after the attack, well, if it indeed is worthwhile doing. Hey, so I'm back real quick. you thought you might like to know, with artillery that's DG'd or disorganized, what that means is that we use the combat factors at half strength. And so the 9 factors rounded down to 5, and we had no result there. So that means there's 12 factors with a 4 AR defending against a total, including the halved units here, which I'm going to pick up here, is a total of 28. And don't forget that because we're in the open here, this guy's going to be doubled. So he was 6, goes up to 12, gets halved, goes back to 6. We've still got to drop 1, so we don't get the benefit there of that guy. And the guy underneath him had a red box, colored box, and so he's 1.5 times. These guys are all just infantry. So what does that mean? If you've done the math in your head already, 28 versus 12, both with the same AR, or same AR I should say, that is not a good deal. You would be looking at a potential 60% chance of taking losses as the attacker, and only a 23% chance or 22.25% chance of inflicting losses. I wouldn't normally go through and do that exact exercise. As a solo player, what I do is I look at my attacking stack, and these guys, I'll look at it just like that, and most of the time I've forgotten what's there, but in this particular game I assume it's either 9 or 12 that's going to be hiding underneath there, because there's quite a few of these 12 factor units, and in fact, this is a 9. And here, a surprise, I don't have a 12, and all these guys have something substantial underneath each one as well. So there's a little bit of faking myself out sometimes, but more often than not, it all works out. Anyway, so what we've done there is we've delayed things a turn, and that's good for the Italians. The Italians, I believe, if looking at the reinforcement schedules, really want to buy some time so they can get some more forces on the board that are capable of fighting. And right now, what we've done here is bought ourselves another turn. So now we're going to move to December 15th. We are actually going to do one attack up here. We're going to attack these guys, and we'll and we'll move on to December 15th, and we'll take it from there. All right, catch you later.